Hi, this is Sui778 coming at you, and on the channel today I have a brand new reference standard that I just got in, and we're going to take a look at it. This is none other than the DMM Check Plus from the www.dmmcheckplus.com site, and we will have a link to this product down in the description. Let's go ahead and do the unboxing on this. As you can see, for such a small device, it comes in a fairly good sized box, wrapped up in a bunch of paper, bubble paper. You also get, let me get that box out of the way. You also get some documentation for the device itself and what it does and how to use it, etc., etc. And also we get the certification for this, and we will go over this later. And this was in a, they do this a little bit differently. This used to be printed or used to be handwritten, but now they actually are doing actual certifications on that lovely piss green paper. Anyway, but I kind of prefer it this way because I can actually read it. It has the serial number on it and everything else. And then inside, this big bubbly wrap. Get that out of the way. It comes inside a anti-static bag, and inside of that, more bubble paper. So this is very well packed and well protected in transit. So I do like that. This is a delicate device, and here it is, the DMM Check Plus. This is version number 6, as I believe you can see in the camera there. Version is right. I might be able to read it, might not, but yeah, but this is revision 6. Okay, so let's put this down on the table. We'll do an overview of it. Okay, and now for a general overview of the DMM Check Plus. The references that we have on this are an AC and DC 5-volt reference, a 100 Hz frequency with 50% duty cycle reference, an AC and DC 1 milliamp current reference, and also 4 high precision resistors. A 9-volt battery is included, and as far as the optional add-ons go, obviously the enclosure, which I did opt to get. I just got the base model otherwise, but the enclosure I think was important because this board is sensitive to static discharges, so having this little shield over the top will provide, an extra line of defense against such an event occurring. The other two options that you have, one is the dual frequency and duty cycle, where you can specify any frequency value between 25 Hertz and 20 kilohertz. And the other option is the capacitance and inductance daughter board. You would get 4 caps and 4 inductors. I'm thinking about actually getting that at some point because sooner or later I'm going to end up reviewing an LCR meter on this channel. And that's about it. Quick tour. Your power is up here. Let's go ahead and get this turned on since we do need to get this warmed up. You do need to warm this up for about 15 to 30 minutes before you actually start measuring stuff. Your AC and DC switch is right here. Your voltage terminals for AC and DC are right here. Your terminals for current are right here, both for AC and DC. And the terminals for your resistors are right here. And that's about it. So let's go ahead and get to the certification sheet. Here we go with a quick rundown of the DMM Check Plus Calibration Certificate that came with this unit. We've got our calibration date, the serial number, my burn-in duration hours, the calibration temperature here, what the DC voltage reference was actually measured at, AC voltage reference, the temperature coefficient, the DC current source measurement, the AC current source measurement, the 100 Hertz frequency oscillator measurement, and the duty cycles here. Then we've got our 4 resistors here, 100, 1K, 10K, and 100K. And down below here, there is a list of the calibration equipment used and the models and even the serial numbers that they were done on, and there's calibration certificates. So that's really cool. That's very useful information. And going by the models that were used here, I think this is a pretty trustworthy device. Okay, let's get on to some measurements. Okay, let's go ahead and start off with my bench meter here. Basically what I'm about to show you is what I already know about this meter even before I got this. This is a very accurate meter at a very reasonable price, I might add. So let's go ahead and start off with the 5 volt DC test, DC voltage. And as you can see there, the reference is supposed to be 5.000 volts, and we are right at 5.000. Doesn't get much better than that. Okay, let's switch over to AC voltage. And this is supposed to be 4.999 on 4.999 volts on AC. And as you can see here, it's slightly off. It's well, on that scale about 83 counts off. 4.990. It is slowly climbing, so we'll give it a second to settle here. But again, I'm not complaining. I mean, that's basically 8 millivolts off of what it's supposed to be, less than 8 now. So, yep, slowly climbing there. But again, I would say that's pretty good. All right, let's go ahead and do the frequency. So the frequency on this is supposed to be 100 hertz. 100.009228 hertz is what it was measured at. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to do that with this meter, but we'll see how close it gets. And it is reading it right as 100 hertz, which is probably should read it as about 100.01, but still, I'll take it. That's extremely close. That's fine by me. All right, let's check the duty cycle, which is supposed to be 49.980% according to this reference certification, and we are spot on. So no complaints there. Okay. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is check the current. Let's get that into the correct mode here. Okay. So first we'll go with DC current, and according to this reference it should be 0.9996 milliamps. So we're going to try it in the milliamp range first. Okay, and it's reading it a little bit high, but we can try in the microamp range too. But it's pretty close. Yeah, it's jumping around a little bit. Again, though, pretty close. Let's put it in the microamp range, see if we can get a better reading that way. Yeah, look at that. It's just about right on. 999.6 microamps, which the certification is 0.9996 milliamps. Definitely not complaining about that. Okay, all right, so let's switch it back to milliamps. Let's go to AC current. And this is supposed to be 1.001 milliamps. And again, it's getting pretty darn close. In fact, it's just about right on. It's off by about 1 milliamp. Nope, there we go. Look at that. Pretty much spot on for that, so that's awesome. All right, so that works for me. Okay, so, wow. Now you guys know why I like this meter so much. It wasn't really all that expensive. It's got reasonable resolution count, and it's quite accurate. All right, let's go measure some resistors. Yeah. Okay. All right, so first we're going to do 100 ohms. This is supposed to be 99.99 ohms, so we'll give it a moment to settle here. Yeah, look at that. It's really trying to get bang on there. Oh yeah, look at that. 99.99. It's wavering just a tiny, tiny bit, but I think we can live with that. Okay, let's go to 1K. And the 1K is supposed to be 1.005 kilo ohms. 1.0005, I'm sorry. And look at that, right on. I'll take that. All right, let's go to 10K. And this one is supposed to be 10.0044 kilo ohms. And it's measuring it at 10.006. And that's in auto mode. So again, it's real close. I cannot complain about that. All right, let's go ahead and go to the 100K. And at 100K, this is supposed to be 100.064 kilo ohms. Again, it's reading it at 100.08, but again, that is really close. In fact, it's getting closer. According to that reading right there, it's like maybe 6 counts off. I'll take that. So anyway, looking really good on this. And now we'll go on to the pros and cons of this board and the conclusions. I was going to do a bunch of other multimeters, but we're going to do that in another shootout video like we did with the 8584, just for time constraints. I don't want to make this video too long. But anyway, so let's go to the pros and the cons and then the conclusions. Okay, now on to the pros and the cons. First, the pros. Well, very stable output on everything, and I think we proved that conclusively during the test with the UNI-T UT8804N. Once this thing gets warmed up, you know, you do need a warm-up period, but once it is warmed up, it's consistent and it holds steady. So very good. Another big pro of this is that you get the DMM Check Plus Calibration Certificate. You know, you get all your marked readings, you know, when it was done, temperature, everything. Not only that, you also get a list of the multimeters that were used to certify this, and also their serial numbers, and if that wasn't enough, also their own certifications numbers. So that's very reassuring. Legible, well-written documentation. I haven't covered the documentation much, but it goes into great detail about what this thing is doing and how it should be doing things. So I love the nice big printed out 8.5 by 11 sheets. I can actually read it. So kudos to DMM Check Plus for that. The biggest pro, though, of course, is that this thing simply reveals the truth about a multimeter's ability to measure voltage, frequency, duty cycle, current, and resistance. And if you have the daughter board, also capacitors and inductors. And I think I'm going to have to get one of those daughter boards for this thing. And lastly, it's compact. I mean, you could take this anywhere. I mean, it's small. And with the enclosure, I would actually recommend keeping that anti-static bag and the smaller bubble wrap if you're going to take it around with you. But yeah, works great. So, great little unit. So on to the cons. Well, there's only one real con I can think of, and that is that this device is somewhat expensive, and in some cases could be cost prohibitive. I mean, it starts at $123, and with the add-ons it gets even more expensive. So this may not be for everybody out there, but if you use several multimeters, I would highly recommend getting one of these things, because it's a quick and easy way to make sure that the multimeters and the other equipment that you are using are still in good shape. Okay, and that brings me to the conclusion. The DMM Check Plus is a fantastic tool for checking any DMM's accuracy in the real world, especially if the user has more than one digital multimeter that they normally work with, or if you are a weirdo like me who reviews these things on YouTube, also very handy. This isn't necessarily suited for everyone, as this reference standard starts at $123 and will run nearly $200 fully loaded, but at the same time is still a reasonable option versus the much more expensive reference standards on the market. The bottom line is the DMM Check Plus is worth it if you are willing to pay for it. I most definitely recommend this. I get a big thumbs up for this. Yep, 2 of them. Anyway, great stuff there. So I really like this reference standard. This is definitely going to redefine the way that I do stuff around here, and we will get to that. Probably going to do away with my existing current test. I can tell you that. At the very least, that's going bye-bye. So we'll get to that when we get to the next multimeter review. But anyway, thanks again for watching. This is Sui778, and until next time, have a pleasant evening, day, whatever the case may be. Thanks for watching.